So, Scott, I have a lot of little comments proving you right. You are speaking now a different language, but essentially tautology is the same what I'm saying, but in a different language. The language of art, the language of religion, the language of history and mystical things, which is, if you are a realist, you have to accept that there are mystical things which realism doesn't encompass. These things, they're real. They're different, but they're real.
Yeah.
And now, you're pleased to know that in the master equation of Alain Connet, the father of non-commutative geometry, which would have convinced Einstein that quantum mechanics is basically correct, he used the larger form of the golden mean, which is 1.6. He used that. But then, even using his formalism works exactly also using the smaller.
Absolutely.
But if you use his formalism, then you come to the integral again in a very surprising way. I'm more related now to physics, or at least theoretical physics. You can describe the zero set, which is the quantum particle, the pre-quantum particle, by phi in the small writing. And then the quantum wave, you describe it was phi square.
The small square, even smaller.
And it's, smaller.
Yeah.
Now the surprising thing and interesting, you get exactly the unity also from adding the quantum wave, which is essentially what Plato would have called ether. And the zero set, the quantum particle, which essentially nobody mentioned it at all except something there. You add them together, is exactly one.
Yes.
And what is amazing, now you are adding an infinitely number in decimal writing with an infinitely another number in decimal writing. And they collapse in each other and enter in each other and become unity. It's amazing. So really confirm what you say, confirm what I say, and confirm that's the truth. It doesn't matter where we small human beings stand, will at the end be a truth and will not depend on the position we just by design or coincidence took to see the truth. The truth will always be spherically correct, like spherical bastard.
No. Spherical bastard.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned, two people, you just mentioned it now, who played, you mentioned one of them, they are two brothers, Henry James and William James.
Yes.
I loved Henry James, and I was reading especially about Venice.
And I love William James.
And I love William James. It was the first philosophical book I read as a child. Basic Principle of Philosophy, his book, where I learned all these things. And then suddenly I was a professor in New Mexico, and I realized they were living there all the time, the two brothers, the family. I was in Las Cruces, and University of Las Cruces. And really, you were talking about that.
Yeah, Leuven, yeah.
Jean Leuven,
yeah.
The French. And it's funny, I will not say what, but this is my work and your work as well. We would agree completely with this. Poincaré, dodecahedral. And you cannot have a big dodecahedral without the golden mean.
Right.
You can't. And he was celebrated in the same media outlet, which were out for the same reason for which they attacked me by hiring, or somebody hired, a third-class German, a third-class in every respect German journalist to defame. To defame for what?
To defame him as well.
To defame me. No. They didn't defame him. But it's the same outlet.
Yeah.
The definition of injustice. You give somebody a prize, and you cut the neck of somebody else for the same reason he gave the other one a prize. Yeah. It was like that Springer Verlag, which is one of the last, and my friend decided for my 60th birthday to devote this book for me, with all the famous name people who have written this, mainstream scientists, like, you can go as mainstream as you want, you'll find them here, and people who are not mainstream, like Otto Rosler, but very famous man, work on golden mean and work on. So that was Springer. Now, the same thing was done by the journal, of which I was the founder, the owner actually, and they celebrated me in my journal because they wanted so. Now, they forget about this and they attack me for that, and that's what I have. The people who attack me, I took them to the High Court. They couldn't win, and they lost £5 million, British pound, not Egyptian pound. If you lose 5 million Egyptian pounds, this is very small. It's one amount, but not 5 million. British pound. It is amazing why people should mix politics with science. There is science politics, yes. This is more important. We search for it now. This we search for later. Government give money. Science politics is okay. But politics, that means you attack your opponent with non-scientific means. You are not bringing a scientific argument. That's what got Einstein. He said, forget about me being a Jew. Please forget about me being Muslim and Egyptian. Yeah, I didn't choose it. I was born Egyptian and Muslim. Argue with me scientifically. They couldn't argue for anything except that I am the editor-in-chief, founder, and the only power behind something which was not fashionable at all, chaos, seletone, and fractal, and became fashionable. And people then wanted to take the journal from me because it shouldn't be in the hand of somebody who's disobedient, like me. I'm not obedient. I don't say, yes, sir. We all for you. Whatever you say, sir. And you have to, what this? In German, this is my right arm. Right in German, recht, is like in English. Right means the right side, and right means correct. And there was this incredible cabaret, political cabaret. And the time of Hitler, somebody asked him, what you are doing? What's that? He said this, taking to the up. Taking the up in German means striking it out. It's a taking to the up right arm, which means then, if you translate it, abolition of rights of the human being. So with the same logic, I was condemned because I ran for almost 1.5 decades, one of the most successful journal with an impact of 3 point something, and now the impact after I have been catapulted out of my own journal, it's 1 point something by force, and 20 people working on it, and they can get to the up. That is really doesn't stop me making science, and it will not stop any real scientist of making science. It doesn't matter how Jean-Pierre Lemonnier was praised and then attacked and then praised. His co-author on many papers, Weeks, still writing, still doing work, still publishing. My work, a book was written about it, by somebody I have never met nor known. And he was stimulated as it because Martin Gardner wrote about me. Now this lousy journalist who for money was commissioned to attack me and defame me and I took to court, as you know, pretended he doesn't know about this. He doesn't know about the Nobel laureate who praised my work in writing, and I submitted.
Which I saw.
Yeah. So really, what is it? Why is it? Two spirits are living inside us, a good and a bad all the time, this dualism. I thought we should, after all, so much evolution, get rid of that.
Right.
So, what shall I do then? Nothing. I'm really happier than any other time of my life, although I became a very old man who can't do, I can't ski and can't climb mountain like I used to. But maybe, if you allow me, I just mention something which I read and loved all my life from your country, from England. Unless you tell me Shakespeare is Egyptian, it's not. Whether it's nobler in the heart to suffer the sling and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing in them to die, to sleep. But a beautiful thing come now from Shakespeare. Perhaps, or perchance, to dream. I think when we can't dream that we will live eventually in a world governed not by ISIS, governed not by big power, governed not by brute force, whether it's explicit by killing people or defaming them on order, then life wouldn't be worthwhile. I'm sure at the end, love will prevail, and we will look among the time we are living now. And if I take the liberty of saying, from the United States till Egypt, we will look upon it sometime as if this were the Middle Ages, like we look to the Dark Ages now. And I think when we all have learned to talk the same language, and better still, to talk the language of nature, which is the golden mean number system, then I think we will live in absolute harmony. And all the things you're dreaming of and I'm dreaming of will be fulfilled. Thank you very much.